di quello di lunedì. You want me to turn it on a bit? Okay. But it should be alright.
Giorno 19 luglio del 25 anno anniversario della Molinara Social Club.
Mr. Donato Cirocco and his wife Antonetta, and Mr. Cos Sirocco and his wife Immaculata. Thank you for attending. And of course we're also pleased to have with us one of our honorary life members, Mr. Nicola Spagnoletti, together with his wife Reparata. Thank you, Nicola. And just as importantly, thank you to everybody who chose to come along this evening and help celebrate this very special occasion. Thank you. At this point, I'd like to introduce to you Mrs. Lynn Longo, who will speak to you for a few moments about a special project that the club's cultural committee have worked on over several months, which you'll see at the background. So if I'd just call upon Lynn to come forward. Thank you.
You're all meant to talk to each other now, not listen. I am most honoured to represent my husband Don Longo at this exciting di 25esimo anniversario del Club Molinara. Mi dispiace che il mio marito, Donato Longo, non ha potuto essere qui stasera, ma è andata a Brisbane per una conferenza. A long way to go to get out of a speech. Le fotografie mostrano la storia del Club Molinara in Adelaide. L'esposizione comincia con le fotografie vecchie del paese e sono sicura che riconoscerete alcune persone, forse vi stessi, quando eravate giovani. Poi ci sono fotografie di quando si era più giovane e più snello. The Italian bit got rather long, but I rang my husband just to check that it was okay, and he said, but you've missed out this and you've missed out that, so it got a bit long. I would now like to ask Mr. John Cummins, the member for Norwood, who's representing the Premier, Mr. John Olsen, and the Leader of the Opposition, Mr. Mike Rann, to officially open this exhibition. Thank you.
Well done, Lynn. That was, I think she deserves another round of applause. I know she was very concerned about the Italian. To expose the part of the cultural display. Oh, that's absolutely lovely. Well done. And now we'd ask them both to actually officially go around to the side and open the exhibition, and then everyone is more than welcome to go through and wander through and have a look at the terrific exhibition and the terrific amount of work that the cultural committee has put into this display. In fact, you can make your way up there now if you like. You're more than welcome to. Thank you.
Can you get some of them?
Yeah, I don't know. Sorry. People just get through. Of course, when you harvest the wheat, it used to be crushed, it used to be frozen animals or people, and then if the wheat didn't grow, it used to be cleaned up, thrown the wheat, all the impurity, and then if you work, that used to get the stalks out and get the wheat rolling.
Adesso stiamo dentro a questo grande lavoro che ha fatto Angelo Caruso, grande ringraziamento, gli auguriamo tanto di bene, tutto di bene. La presto guarigione, così sta in mezzo a noi. Che bello lavoro qua che è stato fatto. Sì Maria, come lavori bene? Brava. Brava zia Maria. Vedi come sa lavorare bene?
E questo è il mistero noi.
Ti ricordi bene zia Maria?
90 anni che abbiamo fatto.
Brava.
Vado formaggio.
It's lovely to see all our traditional culture. Very interesting. Very beautifully set out and very good job. Accendete lo fuoco che stasera fa freddo.
La pignatella con i basi, la cannella devo
All these people are having memories of when they were young. It's beautiful to see.
No, come vai?
All these people seem very interested. Guarda come lavorano belle.
I fasoli soccorsi.
Soccorsi li
Ma
faccio.
vuol dire che fate anche voi la polenta?
Come no?
Come friulani?
No, non proprio come friulani, un po'.
A voi siete per i cusani, noi no.
Alessandro. Tirano un po' per tutte le gente così. Bello. Sì, guarda che bello lavoro che fai. Brava. Di Pasquali, aiutano un po'. Si Pelleri che fai?
Con questa stoppa.
Che stai facendo con la stoppa? Bravi, bravi. Lavorati bene, che così Angelo Caruso rimane contento.
Ma che fa quella là?
Ma sei fredda?
Veglimi pure a me un po'.
Forse è un po' scuro senza luce, ma non fa niente. Facciamolo meglio, sì Maria. Lavorati bene, che così rimane contento Angelo Caruso, che facendo un bello lavoro. Sì, bravi. E chi non lo grano? Sì, sì, sì. Sì, cosi, ma tu stai, lo grano è chino? Sì, sì.
Purtroppo me ne avendo paura, ma tu non mi prendete.
Guarda va come si lavora. Bravo. Alessandro, lavori? Bravo, lavora.
Non troverò più uno qua dentro.
Sì, Maria, ancora lavori?
Sì, sì.
Brava.
Questo può saltare felice.
Quante fotografie? Forse ci sta pure io perché sono nata a Molinara. Chissà. Very nice. Beautiful exhibition. Thank you, Angelo Caruso. Very nice. We wish you a speedy recovery. Lo casolaro, come dici, dov'è? Là sta.
You had all the oppression of the show. No, we did nothing.
Casolaro. Oh, look at that.
Ci voglio un finire ma dove finisco? Come vai? Ora dici, no, dove stai vero?
Sta portando la fretta, l'anno dopo se vedeva la lana.
Chi ci racconti? Chi ci racconti?
C'è sta poco da raccontare.
Che lo
Fino a questo momento tutto a posto.
tutto a posto, tutto guarda elegante, guarda molto bene, vero?
È andato tutto a posto fino a questo momento e siamo
Bravi.
molto contenti che è andato così.
Bravi. E lo fuoco, dov'è lo fuoco? Antonietta, dov'è lo fuoco? Alessandro? Lo furno, facciamo vedere un furno. Ci ricotti i biscotti, sì?
Sì. Ma voi da finire, peggio.
Lo fuoco pure l'ha girato qua, guarda là, che bello fuoco. Molto bello. Tutto bello. Lo pane è pronto per mangiare. Formaggio.
The affliction is at the last.
Guarda come stanno vestite belle, traditional. Sibelleri. Sì, Cristi, come stai bella? Sibelleri, hai lavorato?
Sì, sì. Ma voi dico che la roba non la fa, quella è lana, che te
Very nice.
fuoco non ce ne facciamo fare. No, no, no. Non ti vedono qua, non ha detto nessuno.
Negli anni 50 e 60 una folla di molinaresi arrivava in Australia, Adelaide, lasciando dietro i loro cari, le loro abitudini per cercare un avvenire migliore. I ricordi del proprio paesello era incancellabile e così spesso si riunivano nei luoghi di abitazioni per scambiarsi due chiacchiere facendo qualche partita a carte e consumando qualche cenetta tradizionale molinarese. Visto che il numero di persone aumentava sempre di più, un gruppo di giovani figli di molinaresi pensarono di riunirsi e pensare come potevano fare qualche riunione. Così l'idea fu di formare un'associazione in cui tutti potevano partecipare. La prima riunione ufficiale fu fatta il 13 marzo del 1971 e formarono un comitato. Il giovane studente in legge Giuseppe Marco Baldino fu eletto presidente lo stesso giorno. Ci diedero il nome Associazione Molinara, che voi tutti conoscete, Social Sport Club. Questo avvenne il 1° agosto del 1972. Così, intanto, andarono avanti, spesso formando qualche organizzazione per fondare dei fondi. Questo sogno si avverò presto. Nessuno può dimenticare quanta buona volontà da parte dei soci, donne e uomini. Si lavorava tutti i weekend e anche alla sera dopo aver sudato tutto il giorno. Quel grande giorno del 3 luglio fu inaugurato dal premiere del Sud Australia, Don Dunstan. Dopo il grande passo è stato sempre ristrutturato e anche nuove costruzioni, campi di bocce e tante altre cose che voi sapete meglio di me. Perciò, cari soci, non trascuriamo questo luogo di incontro dove ci riuniamo con gli amici per scambiarci 4 chiacchiere tipico molinarese, con la speranza che i nostri figli sappiano tenere viva la buona volontà dei padri, dei genitori, che dei migranti hanno sudato così forte per mantenere questo. Cultura, onestà, col sudore del proprio lavoro, in terra straniera. Viva Molinara, viva l'Italia e anche l'Australia. Prima di salutarvi, non posso farne a meno di ricordare una persona che ci manca tanto qui questa sera. Angelo Caruso. Si trova ricoverato in ospedale per un intervento chirurgico. Noi ci auguriamo tutti una pronta guarigione e che presto torna qui in mezzo a noi, perché è un artista, Angelo. Tutto quello che avete visto è arte sua, perciò l'aspettiamo con ansia. Grazie dell'ascolto e buon divertimento per il resto della serata. Grazie.
Bravo Lucia.
Thank you, Lucy. That was very moving, and coming from a stalwart like Lucy, that means a whole lot more as well. As I said to you earlier, we're very privileged tonight to have the Leader of the Opposition with us, and I'd like to put
Tropiano, to John DeFede, to Her Worship the Mayor of Norwood, to Vinnie Ciccarello, to Her Worship the Mayor of Port Adelaide and Enfield, Joanna McCluskey, to the Member of the Legislative Council, Paolo Nocella, to other Members of Parliament, to John Cummings representing the Premier, to Michael Atkinson, Labour's Shadow Minister for Ethnic and Multicultural Affairs, Robin Geraghty, Member for Torrens, Joe Scalzi, and to leaders of the Molinara Club and other clubs. Ladies and gentlemen, buonasera a tutti. I'm not going to give all of my speech in Italian tonight. I'm going to leave that to John Cummings to translate afterwards. But he did that to me last time. But I just want to say how much delighted I was to be invited to take part in the 25th anniversary of the Molinara Club. I heard a lot about this club when I came to South Australia just over 20 years ago to work for Don Dunstan and Des Corcoran, and I know that you've had a long association with many members of Parliament, particularly people like Len King and Greg Crafter, and I'm pleased that that tradition continues. 2 years ago when I Vicarello, and I was originally going to Naples and to Benevento and Avellino, and Vinnie Ciccarello told me that I had to go to San Giorgio, Molinara and San Marco. Now what I didn't know is that she and Paolo had arranged a 6-course meal in each place that day to be followed by one in the evening at Avellino, which is why I had to come back and buy a whole new range of suits. But I have very special memories of Molinara. Particularly to be taken by the mayor, the sindaco, by the priest on a tour of the old town, and to be taken to the place up there, the old ruins, to the old church and fortifications, and to be shown both and explained to me the history of Molinara, but also the devastation caused by the earthquake. And it was quite clear to me that the people in that community, and we met a cross-section of the people there, have enormous affection to their friends and family here in Adelaide, who were the first to come to their assistance in fundraising. People like Mario Filippo, I know, was involved in that process as well. But everywhere I went, people remember who helped them in a time of need. I went into the old church with the priest, and he explained to me the plans for a youth centre or cultural centre to be built where the old church was, or being built inside the old church. And that was very ambitious, but looked like a terrific project. I was also taken to the new church of San Rocco, and I was marvelling at the stained glass windows. I know there's some pictures here. It is astonishingly beautiful. It captures the light, but also there's a vividness about the stained glass windows that is quite special. And I inquired about the tower, and the priest said quite offhand, he said, "Oh, this was built by Joe Emanuel from Adelaide." So there's very much a tradition of support and contact between Molinara and people from Molinara here in South Australia. Indeed, when I was walking around, someone just happened to bump into me and said, "Aren't you that MP from Adelaide?" So it's obviously a very close contact. In terms of the club, I want to congratulate all of those who are involved, particularly to Mr. Caruso for the outstanding photographic exhibition and cultural display, the living cultural display that we saw. I thought that really captured the essence and heart of Molinara and its history, and I think it really is an outstanding tribute to all those involved. I think it's really important that clubs like this continue to foster the involvement of young people through soccer, and it's good to see so many friends here from Adelaide City tonight, and Ted, great to see you here, but also through netball and through other pursuits. It's vitally important if we're going to fight to retain and develop multiculturalism in South Australia and in our nation, and it started here in South Australia with Don Dunstan, that we make sure that we encourage young people, the grandsons and daughters of migrants and their children, to take on the language and the culture. That enriches Australia. I was born in Britain and raised in New Zealand, and I know that my parents emigrated in order to give myself and my brother a better chance, better opportunities, and that's what we all want, and that's what we want for our children and their children. But none of us must ever forget from whence we came and from where we came from and those origins and the hard work that's put in. And that's true of this club. Enormous amount of effort over 25 years, splendid club rooms, splendid facilities, splendid range of services. I hope you'll invite me back not only for the 30th, but also, if I'm still around, for the 50th anniversary, and God bless Molinara. Thank you very much for having me.
Thank you. That was a lovely
Thank you very
speech.
much, Mike. And now I'd like everyone, please join me in welcoming the Premier's representative this evening, the member for Norwood, Mr. John Cummings, to say a few words on the Premier's behalf. Thank you.
Thanks very much, Cos. I knew Mike Ram was coming tonight. Ted Iliano over there, I went to law school with, was telling me I was speaking Italian, but I knew Mike Ram was coming. I didn't want to embarrass him, you know. So I decided, Ted, to speak in English tonight. Well, I did have an Italian stepfather, so I have some knowledge of Italian. But I want to say one thing before I perhaps mention the special guest here tonight, Don Callisto, and your cultural group. Congratulations on that, because the significant thing about that was not only that it depicts the history of Molinara, but the second thing about it is this, that they're obviously second and third generation Italians, Australians doing that, and I think that's a great thing, because I agree with what Mike Rand said. The critical thing is we maintain those cultural links. My stepfather's Italian. I've got 4 half-Italian brothers and sisters. I got a phone call from Italy. My brother is in Italy, first time ever. I got a phone call a couple of days ago. Buongiorno, I've never heard him say anything in Italian before. And he was trying to convince me, having not spoken one word of Italian, that he's staying with relatives there who don't speak a word of English. And he's trying to tell me he understands what they're saying. So I don't know what he was hearing when we were young. But perhaps if I could acknowledge the presence, of course, of Bill Sirocco, the president of the club, Mike Ram, and Paolo Nocello, Robin Garrity, members of Parliament, and Mr Joe Scowers, my parliamentary colleague, member for Hartley, the Mayor of Port Adelaide, Joanna McCluskey, and the Mayor of Kensington Norwood, Vinnie Ciccarello, and Tilly Liano, who is, as I said, a legal colleague of mine, who gives me a lot of trouble lobbying for money for the Azuri Soccer Club. And yeah, I know that. Yeah, I know. We'll talk about that later. Mr. and Mrs. Giorgio Grafoni. I want to also acknowledge the presence of the presidents of numerous clubs here. I think that shows the honour in which this club is held, with so many presidents of other clubs who I happen to know.
Applause for all of those, please. They've done a lot of effort. Thank you very much. Now I'd like to call upon the current president of the club, Mr. Bill Sirocco, to address you. Thank you.
Thank you, Cozzy. I don't have to talk in Italian. Lucy did that for me, so I got out of that way. Normally, I suppose it's traditional to welcome all the distinguished guests, but I'm going to break away from tradition, being a bit radical at times. So first of all, I'd like to welcome all the Molinarese who are here tonight. I think you all deserve a round of applause for supporting our function. The Leader of the Opposition, Mr Mike Rand, the Member for Norwood, who's representing the Premier, Mr John Cummings, Her Worship, the Mayor of Port Adelaide Enfield, Joanna McCluskey, other distinguished politicians, because I'm not going to try to name you all because I'll probably get it wrong, other presidents from other clubs, other distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, and I'll mention the important ones, the members, welcome to our club. When we look back 25 years, and what the members have achieved at this club, it's quite amazing. We had a group of people from this little village in Italy, where I think there's more in Australia than there actually are in Molinara at this stage. Maybe we should do a census, maybe the government could give us a grant to do that or something. But yeah, they came out here and formed a little group. Oh, we're going to have a club, okay. Oh, we need some premises. So, and I think some of the people are here, there's a place for sale at Windsor Gardens. Okay, we'll go to the auction. They didn't have any money, didn't have any members' funds, but off they went, and they bought it. And then they sort of said to the Molinarese community, well, we've got to pay this debt. We better join up as members and give us some money. And the community supported them. And that's what the Molinarese are like. So these people, they were risk takers. They were entrepreneurs. I mean, they make some of the entrepreneurs of today look sort of minor. But it is. So they built this club with a lot of hard work, with their bare hands, and I actually mean with their bare hands. And when you look around in the room tonight, and probably a lot of these people here have put in a lot of time, a lot of effort into sort of building this club to what it is now. They created a place where their children could come. People like me, I was able to come here and mix with everybody else my own age. You get to know the other Molinarese descendants, I suppose. And you create that sort of bond together. So I suppose, when you look at that history, for me to address you here tonight, it is quite an honour. I'm not one of these that have built the club with the bare hands. I've been involved in the club a lot of times, but, not done the hard physical work that these people have done. So indeed it's an honour for me to address you. My role now, I suppose things change. So I see my role as the president, I've been in for a year, is focusing on the future, providing a direction for the future of this club to progress into the next century. Now this is going to be a delicate process, because what we've got to maintain the support of the founding members, which is a lot of them are here tonight, and we've got to provide a support for members like myself, and also for the younger members of this club. So we've got a little bit of a balance here, and if that balance doesn't go right, I think everything just falls in a heap. We have a strong base, so I suppose we are fortunate that we can actually build on this strong base. And the other thing is, as we look around, our founding members are reaching the age of, leisure, should we say. We could use the word retirement, but they're in a position now where they want to come here, put their feet up and enjoy the club. They don't want to work in the kitchen every week for a function or work behind the bar. They want to come here and have a good time. And that's something that we've got to consider. This club it was built by our parents, I suppose, and I can say that. And I think it's important that we as a younger generation look after those people's needs. Our parents like to come here. Let's make sure, and I want the message to get across to the younger Molinarese, that if they want their parents to keep enjoying their seniors, the years in their seniors, let's provide them a good base where they can come here. And maybe that means coming to the club and getting involved a little bit and doing a little bit, not a lot. We don't want you to come here and build walls. We just want you to come here and contribute. So I'd like that message to get across to the younger ones. The Molinarese people actually have put a lot, and actually all Italians have put a lot into the South Australian community, both economically and culturally. And I think if we saw what we just saw before with the cultural display, I think that's an example of what our club does from a cultural point of view. It is important that this culture is maintained and passed on to future generations, because this is where the future of the Italian community in South Australia lies, in the culture, passing it on to our children so they know where their nonnas and nonnas came from. What it was like in Molinara. I mean, they might never get to see what Molinara is like, but it's important they have that understanding. It's interesting with the younger generation these days, and I'm just out of that younger generation, but and you see them, they probably think they're more Italian than what we did when we were at school, for example. When we used to go to school and have our nice big thick sandwiches with the continental bread and the salami and whatever, and all the other Australian kids would have their little Vegemite sandwiches, we wouldn't eat them. We'd put them away because it was different. We were different, and it was sort of we were embarrassed to have that. But now, I mean, you go to the cafes, cafe latte. My mum used to make me latte cafe, you know, when I was a little boy. I mean, and now it's become trendy. You go to the cafes, and what do you have? You have frittata. Bloody hell, I mean, frittata. I mean, we've been, you know, people like myself have had frittata since we were kids. But I mean, that's the influence that the Italian community has had. You know, you go to the young guys. I mean, they probably, the younger generation, they'll follow the football. They'll go watch the Crows. They might even go watch Port Adelaide if they're really that desperate. But you know, on their walls, in their bedrooms, what have they got? The posters of Napoli, Milan, Roma, Lazio. You know, all the Italian teams. They would probably be able to name every member of the Italian national soccer team, right? So there is an interest in the Italian culture with these younger people. In motor racing, when we did have the Grand Prix here, Ferrari, I mean, the name, you know, there's a fascination with these younger people with the name of Ferrari. And when Italy wins the World Cup next time, where will all the celebrations, you know, all the celebrations at Norwood or in Rundle Street, who will be there? They'll be the younger Italians, and I mean, you know, they'll probably be 18, 20-year-olds. They'll be out there flying the Italian flag, maintaining their contact with Italy. So we have an opportunity here to capitalise on the young people, and maybe that's where the building blocks will start for the future generations. And I suppose the future of our club, in fact, many Italian clubs, talking to the other presidents, are probably in the balance. In fact, the Coordinating Italian Committee has set up a steering group to look at whether Italian centres can be set up with clubs sharing facilities, and maybe this is a place where we can maintain the culture. Now, this is going to be a difficult task for that group, and perhaps we need a bit of support. Perhaps we need a resource that can actually go out and canvass the Italian community to see what their needs are.
If you let everyone chose, congratulations to the Molinara Social and Sports Club for achieving this important milestone in its history, and may it continue through the strength of its members to grow and flourish for many years to come. To the Molinara Club.
Bravo Nicolino.
Thank you all for your patience. This event.
Dacci di Ratomo, ce l'hai.
He's ugly, don't pull him out.
I've taken him, I've filmed him already, ce l'hai.
Fanno un giro mentre gravate.
No, gira. Donetta, how are you?
Good, how are you?
Good.
Grazie, thank you.
That's a Molinara club. When the roses shine, I give it too much more than so on. And what's a scotch and a good goal? So ring, ting-a-ling-a-ling, ting-a-ling-a-ling, and you sing sweet Bella. Thanks, Jerry, I'm so playing tippy tippy day, tippy tippy day, like a girl. When the stars make you true, just like I said, and so on.
Did they win today? 53. I picked them by...
Nicoli, ciao. Ciao Lucia, ciao Mariella, Marcella.
Fantastic.